Zhang Wei Li is furious.
He's upset. 100%.
Oh, got a haircut today, kid. How the fuck you doing? Welcome on in, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Cake Picks, episode 139, presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. A little more on them in just a little, but happy Friday, Joe, September 20th. How are you doing today? New haircut?
Yeah, I had to get a lot done this morning. Day's not over. It's only beginning, but a lot in store this weekend besides the stuff we're going to talk about. You know, right now, PFL Men of 3 is on. Tonight, it offers double women's main events. Invicta FC 57 and LFA 193 both feature women heading their cards. Cage Warriors, they're doing a double header with CW 177, which is actually on right now, and then CW 178, which will take place tomorrow. And last but not least, tomorrow is Cage Fury Fighting Championship. You know, the local promotion by you up there, and that will return to UFC Fight Pass. So a lot in store other than the stuff we're covering.
Yeah, a lot of other promotions going on this week, and a big week for them, you know, just to get on the off week of the UFC. Good for them to get out, get some fights going as well. But no UFC, like I said, this week. They have an off week, but they'll be back next week in Paris, France.
Should be violent. Bloody violent.
For Moicano and BSD. I cannot wait for that. But we got boxing, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois this Saturday night at Wembley Stadium. Sold out. Cannot wait for that fight this weekend. We got Octagon 61 going down tomorrow afternoon as well. And then we'll end it with Brave CF 87 at 10 seconds left a little later. But going back real quick, Dana White Contender Series week 6 in the books. 3-2, another positive weekend. So we stay afloat, Joe. Yes. But our boy out of Strong Island, Dylan Montanello, did not look good. Got choked out in the third round, but I thought it was 1-1 going in, and you talked about it before we went live. If the legend Ray Longo can't get to you in the corner, I mean,
nobody's getting to you. Yeah, man. It didn't seem like he was very responsive there, you know, taking instructions from Ray Longo. And exactly to that point, man, if he can't break through to you, nobody will. And he was telling him, he had a smart aleck response. If you recall that corner work, he was like, hey, you got to respond, you know, and he was like before or after. And he's like, I don't give a damn. He's like before and after.
Yeah. Before and after, just fucking hit him.
Yeah, just fucking hit him, and he didn't, you know, follow through with it. It seems that the takedowns surmounted what, you know, his will was to continue fighting. And, you know, Hassan Zada took his back and choked him out, man. I didn't expect the wrestling to be that much of a factor in this one. If anything, I thought Dylan, you know, Montello would be the one to initiate some of the grappling. But, man, Hassan Zada found a way to get the victory, and he took the back and did so.
100%. Four of the 5 fighters did get contracts. Benjamin Bennett was the only winner to miss out.
That was a toss-up fight, man. You know, Joey Hart could have won that because he absolutely won on the feet. You know, I can understand that, you know, Bennett was the one taking him down and stuff like that. But what did he do with it? You know, not much. It wasn't like even anything significant. Like Merab we saw this past weekend, at least with his takedowns, he was throwing some heavy shots to follow up.
100%. I mean, I think that's why they kind of gave it to him. Dana White, the boss, was not impressed. He said, I didn't think you deserved to win. Like, he had some harsh words for the kid. I'm not going to lie. So, big win for him. But yeah, you know, it was a toss up between him and Joey Hart. I'll tell you though, who I'm excited to see, big boy, Talson Teixeira. I mean, that guy is a monster. Yeah. I mean, he puts his hands on you, it's over. I mean, honestly, Arthur Lopez was actually tagging him, but he just wasn't going down.
No, he wasn't. The dude's massive, man. I just got a fear for these massive Brazilians, like maybe what we're going to get with the question mark with Renan Ferreira and Francis Ngannou. Who's to know what these big Brazilians are capable of? But we saw a little bit with Teixeira there. I mean, being as tall, what was he, 6'7", 6'8"?
Yeah, I thought he was 6'8".
Yeah, and he probably has to cut to the 260, 265 mark. So he's just a big boy. And Arthur Lopez, you know, credit to him. He brought it to him early, but just couldn't withstand the punishment back. You know, it's not always what you can give, it's how much you can take and keep going. A little 100%. Shout out to Rocky.
And the main event, Elijah Smith. I mean, what a win. I thought he dominated the fight. And the kid out of City Kickboxing, what the fuck is up with the tattoo on his face? I mean, I didn't understand it because he kept getting tagged and sticking his tongue out like he was eating it, but he wasn't.
The heritage, man. The Keeleys, the New Zealanders, man. You know, that's that tribal tattoo. You know, the haka you've seen before, you know, just ball games.
Tua.
You can also, but no, it's the haka. It's a traditional dance that's before wartime for New Zealanders, and I think he's from that more native aspect of it, and they got the tattoos, and he just so happened to get it to his face, and I thought that was a deciding factor. But man, I hate to bring this back from old past. Shout out to OG Shawnee Mack, but dude, he had this one saying is that anybody that has neck or face tattoos normally don't win. We didn't see that before Sean became champion, but maybe going into it, we should have seen it now. And then the only one who's kind of breaking that threshold is Kyle Braulio. He's got that tattoo on his neck. He's the only one that's good that actually will tat their face and neck.
Great advice. I mean, we should have known. It should have faded a guy with the face tattoo off the rip, especially, Elijah Smith coming from a small gym in Colorado Springs. Father knew what it was about too. And,
That's
awesome. We love those small little gyms. They bring the best out of the fighters.
Yeah, and you stay loyal, you could make it all the way to the top. I mean, look at guys for prime example. Conor McGregor never left Straight Blast Gym with John Kavanaugh as head coach, and look at Stipe Miocic never leaving out of Cleveland. He stayed at home, and he's the forefront of that gym. So that's what's happening. You get to a small gym, and they can kind of focus the attention on you.
Same thing like here in Strong Island, Sarah Longo, little gym as well. But
and shout out Gautier too. He had a good finish in the second round there against the Japanese fighter Yura Naito.
Yeah, second round knockout as well. That was a big finish
Not
as
that
well.
One. Good plus money.
Yeah, good plus money altogether. Though I thought it was much more entertaining, I would say, this week than previous week. But which ones did you miss out on?
I missed on the Aaron Tao. You said obviously we should have faded that. And I'm not too bad, not too down on the Joey Hart miss. I thought he could have won it, as Dana White said, but Benjamin Bennett did have the grappling. And grappling is, I keep saying it, it's rearing its ugly head. If you could wrestle, that's a great tool to have in your back pocket.
100%. So we are through 6 weeks here at the Dana White Contender Series. I love them. I mean, we're going all the way to week 10. So we'll be right back.
We were at 13-10 last week, right?
Yes, sir. What are we at now?
16-12.
16-12 through
that mark
6
down.
weeks.
Yeah,
gotta love it, kid. Anything else before we get to our picks and we'll go across the pond to Wembley? You got anything that you wanted to mention? I just really had Dana White Contender Series to really talk about.
Yeah, not much else we missed. We recapped UFC 306 at the Sphere, Noche UFC. That was a good one. You mentioned that this Dana White Contender Series was a little more eventful even than the pay-per-view card. And I got to say, pay-per-view cards have been kind of a letdown throughout the year. There's only like 2 or 3 main event fights that actually kind of lived up to the expectations. So hopefully with the back quarter of the year, we can get some spectacular main events.
100%. But before we do get over to Wembley Stadium for the big showdown between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Usually it's right here, right by the Buckeye, but last night I was at the Jet game, drank all the Viva Tequila. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's the most refreshing drink on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted /1 hard seltzer in the world, not just by San Francisco World Spirit Competition, but by everyone. Only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration. 24-3 Jet celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor our tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry coconut, elderberry, it doesn't matter. Watching the Jets win, baby, makes it that much more sweeter. They flavor with their perfect artisanal blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Cake Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get on over to it. We got a heavyweight bout, kid. Heavyweight title bout. Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua.
Big fight.
I think the card is good, but do you have any other picks for this card?
I don't have other, picks. I would definitely keep an eye out for Mark Chamberlain. He's been on the rise. He's fighting another undefeated guy, Josh Padley. So that should be an entertaining fight, but I do take Mark Chamberlain there, knockout guy. Anthony Casacci, I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Dude surprised a lot of us his last time out, and he very well may defend his featherweight title here against Warrington. So couple fights I like. You also have an interim WO world light heavyweight title fight, Butasi against Hutchinson. I mean, even the co-main event is another title fight. So, I mean, a lot of title fights, 6-fight card. It's not too bad. I actually think that the pacing should be better if we don't have as many cards, not that long an event, kind of focus in on this main event between AJ and Dubois.
I love it. Why don't you start us off? What do you got in the main event? Minus 425 right now for AJ, plus 324 Daniel Dubois.
Brother, all signs are kind of pointing towards AJ, and it's hard to back him. You look at that line, you gotta have to find a prop, man, and it's just willingness to go for it. I think we got some blinders on though. Who's the champion? It's not AJ, it's Dubois. Dubois is the IBF champ right now. Anthony Joshua, he has experience at Wembley, 2 times as a main eventer, won both those times. But the one time he lost, I think he was an undercard guy here at Wembley. So he has experience. I think he's going to have the, the arena experience, because maybe more comfortable in the setting. And it seems at 35 years of age, he's in like a, renaissance in his career. He really is, The only thing that pauses me is the level of competition. Jermaine Franklin is a heavy dude. He gets knocked out by Dylan White, another heavy guy. I don't think that win was all that much. You go with the win on Robert Helenius. I don't think he's that good. He's getting finished by everybody. Otto Wallen does not do it for me either. And then you have AJ coming off the win against Francis Ngannou, who's not even a boxer. So to me, the level of competition goes to Daniel Dubois. He's fought Jarrell Big Baby Miller, who was fighting for championship in back-to-back fights. And then Filip Hrgovic, who we all thought was going to be an absolute destroyer and be the guy in this spot against AJ. Dubois comes out and surprises a lot by getting a finish in both of those. I think's fought better competition. The loss that they both suffered both come from Usyk, twice for AJ and once for Dubois. So that's kind of, the marker. You got to beat him to be the champ, and that seems to be the case here. So though a lot of the eyes are on AJ, the knockout finishes, the 3 consecutive 4-fight win streak. Dubois, 2-fight win streak. Both knockouts, both finishes. I think people are sleeping on Dynamite Dubois in this spot. And you know me, man. I got to do it to him. I love the plus money I'm seeing here. I think Dynamite Dubois is a great play. I think he's live. I think people are doubting him. I think he has the power. 25 years of age. Yeah, he might not have as long of a reach, but if he gets inside, I feel like he can cut the ring off of AJ. AJ's going to want to play the outside. The issue with the playing outside, he might fall in love with the knockout, try to hunt for it, headhunt too much, and get caught in some of the counters that Dubois offers. So I like Dubois. I like his age, 25 years of old, but great competition, similar to what AJ has. Maybe the faster guy, maybe, like I said, more in his prime and maybe healthier at this moment. And with everyone focused on AJ, he could surprise a lot of us. And like I said, I gave the edge to AJ because he's been here and done that at Wembley. And, the limelight could get to a lot of guys, but I think Daniel Dubois, he's an Englishman. He's right at home as well. I think he's going to shock the crowd over there. Give me Dynamite Daniel Dubois with the plus 350 money line play.
I'm going to be on the other side, kid. But like you said, you're going to have to find a way to play AJ if you like him. He's a massive favorite right now, minus 425. And all but one of Dubois' fights have ended inside the distance. And like you mentioned, AJ, he has knocked out his last 3 opponents. And I just think we've seen a different AJ. He's been more aggressive, finishing his opponents faster than he normally has in the past. Well, I don't think he's going to be able to stop Daniel Dubois with it early like he did Francis Ngannou inside the first 2 rounds. I do think Daniel Dubois will get himself into trouble maybe a little later in the fight. And I just think Anthony Joshua is going to be able to capitalize. AJ, he's going to develop. Yeah, he's veteran. He's going to develop that jab early. And I think it's going to build his confidence. And I just feel like all the elements are there for him to blast out Dubois here at Wembley Stadium. I think he's going to get the stoppage win. So I'm going to take AJ to win in rounds 1 through 6 at plus 200.
Wow. So you think the latter part of the 1 through 6 though, like 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, like 4, 5, 6.
Could you even focus in on those rounds? There's definitely bets out there, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just wanted to get half of it though.
I like that money play. That's a smart one. You're playing it safe. I do think the latter rounds, especially if Dubois comes out hot, but I think this is going to be a great fight. I don't think people understand how good Dubois is. I think the level of competition he's fought in his career, I think he's going to bring it to AJ. It's just about AJ responding in the right manner. So I think we're going to have an entertaining fight. Yes. And I would even go on the record to say that this fight can go to the judges. If neither guy can get out of there early, I think you're right about the 1 through 6. I think as it gets late, I think they both lose a little bit of that speed, a little bit of power, a little more fatigue. So finish is going to be hard to come by in the later rounds. But 4 through 6 seems like a sweet spot could happen there between the two of them, but I also see a judge's scorecard deciding it all. But
Yeah.
in other words, I know you maybe want to move on, but I just wanted to let everyone know other boxing fights that are taking place. I mean, Callum Walsh, everyone has had their eyes on him.
Legend.
He's fighting, and Jaime Munguia is back as well. So I just wanted to mention some of the other boxing fights.
Yeah, he's about to fight very soon, Callum. They're hyping him up. You see him all on the UFC page.
I was going to say UFC is kind of sponsoring him, aren't they?
Well, he goes out with what's her name? Baby Shark. What's her name?
Tabitha Ricci?
Tabitha Ricci. And yeah, Callum.
Oh,
that's why they always show Callum on the celebrity screen when Tabitha Ricci is fighting. It's like, wait, are you two together?
No, this is a coincidence.
Yeah. Coincidence? I think not.
Hey, may the best man win, my brother. I like your takes on the fight. I think we're in for a good one. I think people are in for a treat with the UFC taking a break for a week.
100%. I just want to see the scenes. Fighting at Wembley Stadium is just incredible. Yeah. So love it. Joe, good luck. Octagon 61, like I mentioned, going down tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. Get you ready for this AJ and Daniel Dubois fight. Yeah. But you can catch it on DAZN, Octagon 61. Kid, what you got?
I like that DAZN's picking up a lot of mixed martial arts as well. They get mixed in with the boxing. They get some mixed martial arts action. That's how you run a company and you start, promoting a lot better. So DAZN's doing the right thing. But got the featured co-ed main event for Octagon 61. I know these fighters, and you may know them as well. But we start with Lusani Keita. Minus 275 taking on Mateusz Legursky at plus 200. Legursky's a KSW alumni, but he's fighting in the German promotion here with Octagon. And Keita, he's only got one loss in his career. Granted, Legursky as well, but Legursky was stopped by TKO. Keita, he was stopped by a cut. And I just think that if without that cut, he probably would have gone on a victory. I look back in the fight, this dude has been an absolute bona fide finisher. So I like him. I know it's minus 275, but I'm willing to lay the chalk. Maybe if you could find props, I haven't been able to, but you could maybe find them inside the distance. But minus 275 just to get these out, I would play it. And the co-main event features a familiar name, Makhmud Muradov. You know him all too well. He's minus 350, man. He's been a threat in the middleweight division for the UFC for some time. But I think, he got a couple fights and he lost a split decision and UFC just cut him, parted ways with him. And he's been making a name for himself outside of that in other promotions. And taking on Scott Ashcombe, he's plus 240. And Ashcombe, alumni guy, veteran here. He's been Cage Warriors. You made KSW as well. I mean, I think I even saw him fight for one. So he's been at plenty of other promotions here. But though both guys are veterans, I think Makhmud Muradov offers a little more finishability. Oscar may counter that with the wrestling and may just stall him out and be able to get to a dominant decision. But if Muradov has that finishing ability, I think he has more ways to win. Give me Makhmud Muradov. I know it's minus 350, but you got to take it. I got to take him here if I didn't see any other props. Very well. Though inside the distance would be probably favored, the fact that Scott Ashcombe has that wrestling, we've seen how it's been doing. If Muradov does find a way to win, there's a chance it goes to the judges. So I'd probably go to get some plus money, take Muradov via decision. Just, throw it out there.
And then, sorry.
Yeah, and then main event, Ronald Paradiser. He's a favorite here, minus 275, and he has a lot of action on the feet. He is a knockout guy, but the way he's lost is finding himself on his back or, someone taking his back and losing by submission. And that's what Aquadon Duque does. At plus 200, I see tremendous value with him grappling and maybe finding his back because he does like the rear naked choke. So I see some value in the main event, taking the plus money on the money line. Duque plus 200. Let's see if he can find a submission. If you want to go ballsy, since I mentioned props throughout, we got the KO in the featured. We got the decision in the co-main, and we'll go for the submission in the main event. Doesn't seem too likely with a favorite like Paradiser, who's been home at Octagon, but give me Duque. I got to take a shot on the Spaniard.
Joe, good luck. Like I said, tomorrow, DAZN, you can catch that on at noon Eastern Standard. So, yes. Joe, we are locked and loaded. Before we get to 10 seconds left, got some news and bots before we get up out of here. We got the middleweight title rematch between Johnny Eblen and Fabian Edwards. It's been rescheduled for the PFL Battle of the Giants, October 19th. Right now, the current order for that pay-per-view in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, main event, Francis Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira, Chris Cyborg versus Larissa Pachenko, Johnny Eblen versus Fabian Edwards 2, and AJ McKee versus the Phenom, Paul Hughes. I mean, what a pay-per-view so far, kid.
Fantastic pay-per-view, man. I'm excited for it, The fight that you mentioned, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. It was between Fabian Edwards and
Johnny
Eblen.
Eblen. Yep.
The first time around, man, Johnny Eblen, I was worried about him on the feet, but he found a way to close the distance and rock Fabian Edwards and finish with the ground and pound. Something's telling me, man, Fabian Edwards may come back into this hungry, maybe capitalize on some of the holes, maybe be fueled off his brother's loss, and wanting to be the champion of the family. So I'm thinking if he's plus money, I might want to take a risk on taking Fabian Edwards in the rematch, it's not that too quick of a turnaround, but it seems like close enough that he would have a lot of fuel and fire to get this done. And Johnny Eblen being a champ and, close win there. I think he's had one more fight since the fight with Fabian Edwards, and that one was also close, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I mean, he keeping it playing it too close to chest could get you hurt. I think Fabian Edwards could be live.
Fight to go to the decision. That's my play.
There you go.
But only 2 odds right now for those for that Battle of the Giants card, October 19th. The main event, Francis Ngannou minus 275, Renan Ferreira plus 235. As much as I like the big boy, I think Renan Ferreira is dangerous.
Dangerous, man. I like that plus money too.
And the co-main event, Chris Cyborg and Larissa Pachenko. Larissa Pachenko minus 115. Chris Cyborg minus 105. You like the little dog here?
If she does get to plus money, it might be. But man, Pacheco's got hands, dude. I might be right on our girl Larissa Pacheco. Shout out Larissa Pacheco for shouting us out on X, Twitter,
yes.
Whatever you want to call it. I might have to go with Larissa Pacheco.
I'm definitely gonna go with Larissa Pachenko. I feel like, and then as much as I like AJ McKean, I think he'd be like one of the boys. He'd be so dope to hang out with, surf, skates, like a boy. I don't know if I could fade.
Oh, huge, bro. Yeah, I mean, he might be the truth, bro.
Yeah, he might be the next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they're running it back in this PFL Battle of the Giants, October 19th. We're less than a month away from that as well in Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. Some UFC news I just mentioned, I think last episode or maybe last week, Nate the Landwehr will take on Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard will now take on Alexander Hernandez. Nate Landwehr is out of UFC 307 in Salt Lake City. So Austin Hubbard will now take on Alexander Hernandez. Do you like this little switch up?
It was a good job by the UFC. I think it's a winnable fight now for Austin Hubbard. I was taking the train before, Nate the Train, in the UFC, baby. Not, taking some time off to heal whatever he's got going on and wish him the best. But now I see it as a winnable fight for Austin Hubbard. Alex Hernandez has holes in his game, but he's very explosive, and you always got to worry about that knockout. So that's all. I think that Austin Hubbard may have found himself in a more favorable matchup.
100%. And we also have a fight October 26th, special day. UFC 308, Saeed Nurmagomedov will take on Daniel Santos. What a fight. I think this is a going under the radar, nice prelim
Daniel
card.
Santos, Willie Cat? Am I right? His nickname Willie Cat.
Willie Cat.
Bro, he's a dog, man. Or a cat, should I say.
Or a cat,
Willie
exactly.
Cat. Saeed Nurmagomedov, carrying the name. I think he's on a finishing streak right now. Or if he's just coming off that guillotine finish. This has been a while since we last seen him. Has it not been?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
We've seen Usman, we've seen Umar, but we get to see Saeed again and, see if he can keep following with the Nurmagomedovs because, man, they are definitely surging right now.
We have Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, taking on Alex Morono, UFC Vegas 98, back at the Apex October 12th. D-Rod coming back after that suspension. You like this comeback fight for D-Rod?
Yeah, 170 pounds, man. The great right always brings it. I think Morono's going to absolutely have to use some wrestling because D-Rod's got hands, man. He's got Chris boxing, and I think he's going to be durable, and he could foo it out, you know what I'm saying? Like he can foo it out. That foo right there is a problem on the feet. So I just think that, if he gets taken down, Alex Morono may have his way because he is slick with his submission. So it's definitely a fight. I think it's a clash of styles between that fight.
And unfortunately, the massive card of UFC 307 in Salt Lake City took a little hit. Aljamain Sterling is out with his clash against Mozar Evloev.
What was his training partner doing, throwing a Americana from the bottom to him? And also to Aljo, he doesn't get, the complete throwaway. Tap. I hate to say it's like maybe an ego thing, wherever the case, bro, tap and tell your partner, dog, I got to fight in 2 weeks. You can't be cranking on my arm like that. Like, be responsible or else I'm going to train with someone else, So at the fault on both parties in my eyes.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. The video came out. He got in front of it. He talked his options with the UFC medical staff. They told him, they advised him he shouldn't fight. So, he's trying to rebook the fight later in the year, December, maybe early January. But Sterling has still called out. He still wants Movsar when he comes back. Movsar Evloev wants to stay on the card. And guess who called him out?
Diego Lopez.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. Diego Lopez doesn't want him anymore.
He needs to chill.
Fighting Nerds, Juan Lord Silva. Love this fight. Give Lord Silva the opportunity.
Could finish Movsar Evloev.
Yeah, he's going to piece him up on the feet.
But Evloev could just
say no.
Pick him.
Or just say no.
And just say no.
Well, one, tough blow for the card. And two, would you like to see him stay on the card, or do you just want to see them push it back to maybe the last card of the year at T-Mobile?
Aljo was definitely the driving factor in that fight, so it's a blow in that regards. I think if Evloev stays in the card, it doesn't do anything for it, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, if Lord Silva would answer that call, I do think it's maybe maybe not as fair for him. I would like to see him have a full camp to fight Evloev, and it is a big step up. But if there ever was anybody to call on short notice, it would be Jean Lord Silva. So I would like to see it. I don't think that's a bad matchup if that's what they got to do.
The Fighting Nerds, man. They just keep calling it up. I love it. I love that. And then real quick, boxing news before we get to 10 seconds left. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, he will defend his WBC super flyweight world title versus the WBC interim belt holder, Pedro Guevara next. Guevara, he said he wanted this fight. He's the interim belt holder. He wants to make a statement. And Jesse Bam Rodriguez, he likes this fight. I think, and they say there's a possibility for this fight to headline the Jerome Boots Ennis card on November 9th in Philadelphia, right by us. So be a nice spot for him. But do you like this spot for Jesse Bam Rodriguez?
Yeah, man. Let's see. Pedro Guevara, 4 career losses. Never been finished. It is a tough dude, You got to worry about a guy.
At this point, Joe, they're all tough. You know what I mean?
You're at this level, a guy who's been in the sport for this long with that type of record. He's got the experience, he's probably going to be hard to put away. Bam Rodriguez is going to have to be very smart in there. He's going to have to be very, deliberate with his shot selection and definitely, I would say not headhunt as much because I know him to be a good finisher, but I think he may fall into some trouble if he starts to headhunt and loses, what got him to this point. So he plays it smart and he does what he needs to do. He should get out of there unscathed. Jesse Bam Rodriguez is that talented to do so, but he's going to, from here on out, he's going to be fighting the top level guys. And, you always fear, he's not that old, but 35 is older in any type of combat sport. And you always fear an old man in a young man's game. So
100%.
Yeah, I would definitely stick with Bam Rodriguez getting the job done and continue to make his way to Naoya Inoue. And we get that fight.
Hopefully we get that fight after this one. I thought that's what they're going to do, especially since Inoue just had his fight. I thought it would line up perfectly, but they're not going to do it. And I think Pedro's a tough guy. Like I said, I think everyone at this point is respectable and is tough, but we want to see that fight between him and Inoue very soon. But that's all the news I got for this week, Joe. 10 seconds left. Brave CF87. What do you got?
Yeah, kind of, oddball out there. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be competing on Sunday when you got to tune into them. But I like this main event here. Abdisalam Ulu. You got to fear any Mongolian or Kazakhstanian with the last name Ulu because they are just absolute savages. And he is a favorite for a reason at minus 260. Only lost, via decision, I believe, in his career. But, man, Raul Tutorali, he's plus 200, man. I've been loving the plus money this weekend, as you could tell, and it's hard for me to fade Ulu, but I got to take with Raul Tutorali. I've seen him before compete in one. I've seen him compete in KSW. The dude is, he's a finisher, bro. He's got explosive striking. He's built, like we talk about these guys that are just muscle bound. That's the only thing that worries me. If he does get taken down, he can't find his way to his feet, that he gets drained towards the later rounds. But man, that explosion speaks for itself. He's an expert kickboxer, man. He could find holes in Ulu stand up, and I think he could put him away. So I like the plus 200. He's been a champ in other promotions. He looks to be taking the belt from Ulu in this spot, and he'll be a Brave CF champion if he does so. So I think Raul Tutorali is on his way to the UFC, and by doing that, He needs to get this win here, and hopefully we make it 6 weeks in a row for 10 seconds left.
Can you get Brave FC or CF in UFC Fight Pass or no?
I think it is actually on UFC Fight Pass. I'm going to double check to make sure of it. But I remember seeing it actually on Fight Pass. Fight Pass is signing a lot. The Zone's trying to catch up with that. Let's see. Brave CF. Where are you? It's actually, here we go. Like I mentioned, DAZN. It's on DAZN. It's not on UFC Fight Pass, but Brave CF is now signed to DAZN. See, like I said, DAZN's got a couple of boxing promotions. They're getting a lot of MMA promotions. Let's see if maybe this promotion's still good, do good, and they're healthy. But there's a chance that like a DAZN or like any of these, big corporations could decide to make their own promotion to compete with the UFC. If they get enough fighters, they get enough people, they get enough, regional stuff going, I think they could go big time. So
like BKFC and Conor McGregor.
Keep a lookout for that. That's right.
Let's fucking go. Well, Joe, thank you so much. This was good. Good luck this weekend. God bless. We'll see you guys on Monday.